right, guys. Did everybody have fun?
Yes.
Does everybody want to own their own farm now? I failed at my job. So thank you guys for coming and participating here at Hooves of Freedom. First of all, you guys actually helped us get some work done that has been needing to be done. And I really appreciate it. And it's hard to get everything done and do everything that we do at the same time. And so I appreciate all that you guys did today. So we are actually at a grave site. This is where my first horse that I got, his name was Blaze. I got him when I was 11, 12. And Blaze was 3 years old. And at 3 years old, he had been severely abused and malnourished. But I loved him no matter what. Now, I like to tell people when I work with clients and trauma victims at Hooves of Freedom that people and horses are similar in a way that when you survive trauma, you can become either defensive automatically, so that fight mode, or you're passive and you're just expecting it. Now, Blaze, he was defensive. It didn't matter if you had intent to hurt him or not. His mentality was, I'm going to hurt you before you can hurt me. And at 12 years old, even though I had nothing but love for this horse, I loved him dearly, even though he was very aggressive. He picked me up by my arm and threw me into the stall wall one day. All I was doing was going in to fill up his water bucket. I wasn't going to hurt him. I just wanted him to have water, but that's how he was. But I worked with him for months, building trust, letting him know I'm not going to hit you, I'm not going to beat you, I'm not going to starve you. I just want to work with you. I want to have a partnership, a relationship with you. So it took many, many months, and Blaze was starting to come around, but then he got deathly ill one night. He got very sick, and the vet at the time, gotta remember this is a long time ago, back in the 90s. Some of y'all weren't even born yet. But anyway, the vet came over, told my parents, this horse needs to be put down. There's nothing I can do for him. He's suffering. He's going to die. I was 12 years old. He was my first horse. I was in love with him, even though he hated me and tried to kill me all the time. And my mom kept saying, get rid of him. I said, please, please not tonight. Please give me a little more time. And my parents said, okay. And the vet said, here's my phone number at home. Call me tonight. I'll come put him down whenever you call. And I literally went out. He was laying down. He couldn't get up. And I literally went out and sat next to him and pet him. And I prayed over him. And I sang worship songs over him. And within about 4 hours, it was a long time. It felt like eternity. He got up, which is something the vet said he would not do. But he got up. And he was better. The vet came out that morning, couldn't believe it. He's like, I don't know what to say. And I said, I do, God. But the relationship I had with that horse, in a way, he saved me, okay? God used that horse to save my own life. And because of that, I wanted to share it with other people. And that's why I do what I do. And in December of 2015, Blaze died. He was old. It happens. We don't live forever, do we? And so Blaze passed away. And I felt like everything that I had started here and was doing here, I couldn't do because he wasn't with me anymore. But then God reminded me that wasn't why I was doing what I was doing. I wasn't doing it because of Blaze or for Blaze, but I was doing it because of what God did through Blaze for me. And so that's why we have Hooves of Freedom. Some of our horses are rescue horses. Nariah, some of you might remember who she was. I know the Collins do. Nariah is a rescue horse that I brought home in 2017, weighing about 300 pounds underweight. And you could not reach up to touch her head because she was so afraid you were going to hit her. And we don't ever do anything like that with our horses, That's not how, same way with your children. You don't whip them into shape. Yes, spare the rod, spoil the child, but you're not going to beat them to do what you want them to do, right? Okay? You set your boundaries and you set a reward system. You find out what works, but abuse does not work. So Nariah came in. She was also malnourished, obviously, and loaded with parasites. Something as simple as $25 a year is all it would have taken for her to not have that. Her feet hadn't been trimmed in over 6 months. and I was able to trace her history before I got her, and I realized she had been sold at auction, and within 6 months' time she'd been in 4 homes. She trusted nobody. But when someone said, I know you like Arabians, you want to come look at her, I said, yeah, I'll come look at her. I didn't really plan to buy a horse, but there's no way I could leave her there. So I brought her home. And now she's a little too fat. She loves everybody, and she doesn't like to move, as the Collins learned. So she's one of our rescues, and this horse is Promise. And I literally just brought Promise home on Wednesday. So she's just a baby. She's roughly 2 years old. And the person that I got her from, she's still a little underweight. She needs to put on a good 150 to maybe 200 pounds, to be honest with you. But she was rescued by someone else, but they were no longer able to care for her due to health issues with themselves. And they needed to find somewhere safe for her to go with somebody who knows about rehabilitating a starved horse and a horse that's had some trauma. So her favorite thing is neck scratches. But I will say, like, if some of y'all in the barn when you were in there noticed if you put your hand up towards her head, she probably backed away. Same thing. She's a little bit head shy. I don't know all of her history. I do know that when they tried to load her into a trailer at one point, because I like to try to find out history when I bring in a horse, and there's a lot you can find out thanks to social media if you just have the right words to type in. So one of the things that I did learn when they went to load her in a trailer at one place to move her, to take her away from another place, she was hesitant to go in. She didn't want to go in, which is not uncommon. Horses are claustrophobic by nature. But them getting her in was a big guy in the trailer pulling with all of his might, and 2 men behind her, one hitting her with a whip and another one with a flag, waving it, popping it to make noise. So they terrified her to try to get her in the trailer, and they said it took 2 hours. When I went to get her, I walked up to the trailer, let her smell it, let her investigate it. I had her in that trailer in less than a minute and a half. I let her do it on her terms. I didn't force her to do anything, and because she didn't feel forced, she felt willing to do it. So, and that's some of the stuff that we work with some of our clients as well. We have kids that come here with oppositional defiant disorder. Anybody ever heard of that? They're one of my favorites to work with, even though sometimes after they leave, I want to rip all my hair out. But I love working with them because I love seeing the change in their life. I like seeing them learn to trust. I like seeing them come to the realization that not all authority is bad authority. And it's okay to do as you're told. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask questions. And so it is fun to do, and it's great to have horses like this that they can relate to. Now, the interesting thing is, they don't know the horse's story when they first come. They meet the horses by name only, maybe how old they are, what color they are, what breed they are, but each of our horses has a story. They have a scripture verse that goes along with that story, but they don't learn the horse's story until about 3 weeks in or so, and it's amazing to watch the kids with defiant disorder pick Judah. Anybody work with Judah today? Isn't he wonderful?
Once you get a little grass in your hand.
I refer to Judah as my delinquent. I've had him since the day he was born, and I spoiled him rotten. I'm very sorry. No, he's a good boy. He just tests the boundaries. And if you know nothing, he knows you know nothing, and he's going to take advantage of that. But he's great. And all my kids with ODD tend to pick him. It's just like a match made in heaven. So it's wonderful to see that happen. A lot of our clients that come here that have been through and experienced trauma end up working with horses that have experienced trauma. We have, as I said, this is Blaze's grave. I think one of you guys worked with Rifle. Yeah, you guys worked with Rifle. So Rifle and Blaze were best buds. When Blaze died, Rifle crashed. Like, he wouldn't eat. He didn't want anything to do with anybody. And it was months of just him grieving is really what it was. And actually bringing Nariah home was the best thing we ever did for him. And they're actually related in pedigree, and they're cousins, and they act like cousins. Like, you're my best friend. I hate you. So it's really interesting to see that dynamic play out. And it's wonderful to see the dynamic play out with the clients that we work with and see what God does with the horses, and even things that we don't realize need to be worked on. God knows it all. And sometimes he can use us and he can use those animals to bring out those things that they don't want to work on or that they keep hidden. But God doesn't want that hidden. You can't have true healing unless it's all revealed. So, anything you want to add? So this is Promise. She's our newest horse. I had no intentions of buying a horse on Friday last week. We went to Blackshear Elementary with our mini horses, our goat, and our dog, and I said, that was it. And I came home and talked to somebody about this horse, and within 5 minutes, she was already coming home. Not coming home, but we had planned for her to come home. It was a done deal. And
tell them real quick about Blaze's Fun.
yeah, so Blaze is fun. This is my wonderful PR helper. So we now have something that we call Blaze's Fund, and it's a sponsorship program where you can sponsor a horse for a year, and it takes care of their food, their hay, having their hooves trimmed every 6 weeks, their routine veterinary care, and it's $200 a month. And you can pick a horse, you get your name on their stall, you get pictures with them, and if you're local, you can arrange times throughout the year to come and groom them and spend time with them. So that's a perk that you get as a sponsor for one of our horses. And of course, Blaze's Fun is in memory of the horse that started it all for me. So I still have his halter and his bridle and a bunch of pictures hanging in my living room, and they will always be there. So, but yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, she'll kill me for doing this. But Hillary does all of this ministry and everything that she does here. She does not get a salary. And so one of the things that we've done this year is implement Blaze's Fun in the hopes that if all of our horses can be sponsored for $2,400 a year or $200 a month, that can be friends who go in together, businesses that want to go in together. It doesn't have to be the burden of one person to take care of a horse. But if we can get these horses sponsored, then our hope is that eventually we can finally start paying Hillary for what she does, because as the Bible says, a workman is worthy of his hire. So just want to throw that out there because she would never tell you that.
No, I would not. Anything else, or should I have asked that?
You're good.
Clay?
We do have food up here. I know we kept y'all late today. We'll present, Logan and Hillary will